Good afternoon. Good Friday afternoon, Knicks Nation. I hope you are COVID free today. I hope you're healthy. I hope your family is also COVID free and healthy. I hope that the needs of your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, and health are being met. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, trying to save lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep our places clean. Blessings also upon those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on those trying to deliver, trying to help, trying to rehabilitate, trying to save boys and girls, men and women, children, babies, toddlers, teenagers from sex slaves, sex operations, human trafficking, pornography, child pornography, pedophilia, molestation, teen prostitution, and curses upon those that are helping to promote and continue these human mind and human body destroying industries. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. 600,000 men, women, and children in the United States, families without a roof over their head, and millions around the world, including the Philippines, Afghanistan, Haiti, and other places in worse situations. Blessings upon them, and blessings upon those trying to help them, for theirs is the kingdom. So I'm in the afternoon today. It's Friday afternoon. It's been a crazy, crazy week this week. Been very busy. I was at a conference a couple of days, and then there's work and a lot of stuff. I see I'm wearing my cloud shirt because I do a lot of stuff with the cloud, and it's just been crazy this week. So I didn't get a chance to do my morning the way I like to do it. So I'm doing it this afternoon. And I wanted to go over real quick. I watched the training camp interviews, I think it was yesterday, with Mitchell Robinson and Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker's wasn't any surprise. He didn't say anything earth-shattering. But Mitchell Robinson, to me, it's just me, but to me, obviously Julius Randle's the centerpiece of the New York Knicks right now. He's the heart and soul of the team. We need him to be him. I'm going to make an assumption that he is going to be who he is and what he does, and he's going to get better. Same with RJ. But aside from that fact that you have a healthy Julius Randle and a healthy RJ Barrett doing their thing, the key, most important player for the Knicks to go far in the playoffs this year, to me, is Mitchell Robinson. And I believe, based on what Tom Thibodeau said, based on what Mitchell Robinson himself said yesterday, the Knicks knew too. What happened? Well, they asked Mitchell Robinson. The media saw him on the court prior to some playoff games, on the court shooting some baskets, doing some things. And based on that, the media was thinking he would return soon. No. Then we saw him at some point in the summer with a walking boot on, and everybody's like, oh, he's lost for the season. No. See, people make assumptions based on what they see. But they didn't talk to anybody on the Knicks or to Mitchell Robinson to see what the situation is until yesterday. Until Tom Thibodeau also spoke a couple of days ago as well. This is the first time we're really hearing from them. And it shattered everybody. See what happens, of course? Everybody starts running off at the mind and the mouth and making assumptions. Mr. Robinson, I heard some people actually say, Mr. Robinson's career is over, or he's going to be traded, or we're going to trade him. Better get him for a bag of chips now. Better go trade him and get Cat. Calm down. Listen to what they said. So Tom Thibodeau said that they have a schedule for Mitchell Robinson's rehab, and that he is making progress on schedule. It was us in the media that was assuming he was going to be ready for opening night. It wasn't, they never said anything like that. The Knicks never said that. And we have to separate the noise that's being made by speculation from the facts as they presented to us from the sources that have those facts, namely the New York Knicks coaches, staff, and players. So Tom Thibodeau said he's on track. They asked him, what happened? Why were you? And he said, I just wanted to go out in the court and test it. And they asked him, well, will we be ready for open night? He said, I want to play. So in other words, he is not stopping himself, or he's not stopping because of pain or anything from playing. So why is there a question? Well, think about this. Mitchell Robinson is a 7-foot basketball player that suffered a foot injury, a fracture to his foot. As we speculated, as we said before, not speculate, but as we know, there have been players. Like I said, I remember Rick Smits was one that I remember, and then Yao Ming was the other guy. And there's been others, but those are the two that come to my mind first. Rick Smits, who was a really good center, and of course Yao Ming's a Hall of Famer, that career ended because of foot injuries, fractured feet, and they could never get healed. They kept breaking. So with bigger guys, you got to be careful with foot injuries, because if it doesn't heal right, their career could be over. So the Knicks, in their wisdom, are playing this close to the vest and cautious. Why? Well, as we mentioned earlier, a healthy Mitchell Robinson makes them a top 3 team in the East. With the possibility of going for the Eastern Conference Finals, a healthy Mitchell Robinson is that important. So you want to make sure, for your team's sake, for his sake, for your investment's sake, that he's completely healthy and ready to go. You have to be extra cautious with a 7-foot player who has a fractured foot. So they are bringing him along slowly, and they can afford to do that because of the prowess that was shown by Nerlens Noel and Taj Gibson backup. And Tom Thibodeau mentioned it. He said Nerlens can fill it, and he said Taj can fill it, and Taj can start if we needed to. And they really have confidence in these two to back up Mitchell Robinson, which I do too. The Knicks are deep at the 5 because they have Mitchell Robinson, Nerlens Noel, and Taj. And then, of course, you still got the kid Jericho Sims that you can play. You could still play Julius Randle as a small ball 5 if you wanted to. Okay, so that was very important to me, that they all were on the same page. Their stories matched in terms of Mitchell Robinson said, no, I couldn't do this. I'm on a schedule. All I could do was lift. So I got in the weight room. And Tom Thibodeau said, we're glad that he did what he could do. We knew he couldn't do certain activities because of his foot, but what he was able to do in hitting the weight room, he did. And we're very happy he did that. No more speculation. I mean, there shouldn't be. Okay. So as far as starting opening night, I don't know if he's going to start opening night. But I do know when he comes back, the Knicks and the Knicks training staff and their medical people, which are among the best in the business, they've been like that. The Knicks have had certain things that have been pretty consistent since I've been, following them since I was 8 or 9, 10 years old, is that their training staff has always been top notch. Because the best doctors, I mean, maybe it's just me, but some of the best doctors in the world are in New York, right? So they've always had the best top. When Bernard King hurt his knee, it was really close to the vest as to when he was come back, if he was come back. And at that time, an ACL was a career-threatening injury. It was not like now, pretty common for players to come back from ACLs. At that time, it was career-threatening. Your career was over. It would be the same from an ACL. And so they were really keeping it close, and they were really keeping it in the closet, what they were doing, how they were handling Bernard King. And then he did come back and he made an all-star team. He came back and became an all-star with the Washington Wizards. But they've been doing that a long time, and they do it again now. They're keeping it close to the vest, but they did reveal that Mitchell Robinson is on his schedule and he's going according to the schedule. They asked him, have you had any setbacks? No, I haven't had any setbacks. Not only that, I was concerned with the weight gain, because he was flexing his muscles and stuff, but he said the little bit that he did get on the court to run a little bit, he lost the weight, which is good. That's actually good. We want him to be stronger. He doesn't need to be heavier. He needs to be stronger. And the good thing again, from what I heard from Tom Thibodeau, they understand that. And Tom said when he gets to running on 5-on-5, we're going to see. That's where you're going to see what his weight is, because he's going to drop any fat he got. And we just need him to be stronger. And he's been in the weight room pumping. So that's good for him. The second thing that's less important, but is impressive to me. is how Mitchell Robinson handled the media attention. Now, I remember when he first had his first press conference after they got drafted, him and Kevin Knox were together on the dais where they had their introductory. And he looked like a little kid lost, man. He was just looking like a little kid. But now in the 3 years he's been in New York, he has learned, he's mature. And I don't understand. I've heard some people quote, which I don't like people that just start speculation for no reason. I know people want to get attention, but people are saying Mitchell Robinson needs to be more professional. Mitchell Robinson is a little lazy. I don't know where you get that from. I don't know where you get it from, because he's been committed every year he came in. He's come into the Knicks. He's never not worked hard, never laid off, slacked off, never been one to take a play off. I've never seen any evidence of that. So I wish people would stop speculating about him like that, because that's not fair to him. That's a narrative that should disappear. He's not immature and he's not lazy. In fact, when you listen to the press conference, he's very intelligent. He's very intelligent. He like to goof around, like he has a little Mitchell Robinson interviews and stuff like that, but that's just him doing him. Okay. But as far as basketball, as far as playing for the Knicks, he wants to he's ready to go. And he wants to be part of this team. He said it was killing him to watch his team lose to Atlanta. You know why? Because if he was healthy, we would have beat him. So, and he knows that. And the Knicks know that. So with that being the case, they were asking him these questions, trying to speculate, and he was deflecting. And then when Berman's turn, whenever Berman, you could see the look on his face. He wasn't them that give Berman the smirk. He'd be like, and one time he used to say, Berman. Like, he's not having the BS, man. So, I like where he's at. I'm very comfortable where he's at. I wish he was ready to go opening night, and maybe he will be, maybe he won't be. But you remember with Tom Thibodeau, there are protocol steps. Forget even with the medical staff. If the medical staff clears him and he can run, there are protocol steps with Tom Thibodeau. And you got to go through them and pass each step before he lets you play. Now, if that means he misses a month of the season, I don't care. Like I said, if we could get Mitchell Robinson for 72 games, 72 games, we need him. Okay? If we can get him for 72 games, the league is in trouble. The league's going to have a problem from the Knicks. I'll tell you that right now. Okay? And there's no competition with him in Nerlens Noel. Mitchell Robinson's hands are like a wide receiver in the NFL. He catches stuff, man. Okay, he runs the floor, he catches things. And again, the most impressive thing I see is the way he uses his length to cover ground on the floor. So that's one of my, he's 1A. Deuce is my man right now, but Mitchell Robinson's 1A. Okay. So don't come on my channel trying to diss MitchRob. It's not going to work. Just like with my man, Frank Ntilikina, who's no longer a Knick. So I'm not tripping about Frank, but MitchRob and Deuce, don't come on my channel trying to crap on them, because you're going to have a problem, because we're just going to delete you. Just going to delete your comment. We're not having it. Okay? And you can be respectful. You could disagree. You can say, I don't think he's as good as you think he is. You can do all that. Be respectful, though. Don't act like them 15-year-old pimply-faced kids that got to try to diss. Don't do that. Okay? Just be respectful. So, Mitchell is in good hands. The Knicks are handling this properly. His foot may already be healed, but they are bringing him along slowly and at a very judicial pace to make sure he's ready when he steps on that basketball court. Because again, if he is, and if he comes back the way we know Mitchell Robinson can play, the NBA is going to have a problem. And I mean, the whole Eastern Conference is going to have, I don't care from top to bottom, they're going to have a problem. Okay? If Mitchell Robinson is ready to play. And the Knicks know that. Like I said, I think the Knicks know that, which is why they are being very cautious with him. And again, we could afford to be cautious because we have Nerlens and Taj. Okay, now they're not neither of them Mitchell Robinson, but like I said, if we don't have a Mitchell Robinson, we are still top 6 in the East. We become an Eastern Conference Finals threat with him. And that's a huge difference, right? That's a huge difference. Being a playoff team is one thing. But being a threat to represent the East, to fight for that Eastern Conference Finals, now I don't know if we get past that, but we are a threat to go there with Mitchell Robinson healthy. Okay. It depends on how, there's a lot of other factors. How healthy Kemba's going to be. How much strides is RJ going to take forward. All of that is also important. But it starts, Mitchell Robinson's the most important thing right here. It starts with him. Him and Julius. Julius, I'm assuming, is going to be, hard rock Julius be ready to play. But Mitchell Robinson is the most important. Outside of that, he's the most important player we got. Okay? He's more important than Kemba. We got so many point guards. Kemba is nice. Kemba can help us get to these conference finals, a healthy Kemba. But if we don't have him, I'm very comfortable with Deuce. I'm very comfortable with Derrick Rose. I'm very comfortable with IQ. Very comfortable with them. And I'm not, and we still be top 6 in the East. We'd be giving everybody hell with them. But you give us a healthy Kemba Walker and, it might be lights out with Mitchell Robinson. So that's all she wrote. So that's why I'm not buying into all this speculation and all this. He's not going to be ready. What they're going to do? Maybe they should trade him. His career's over. Whatever. Mitchell Robinson's being brought along judiciously by the New York Knicks because of how important he is to what we could do this year. Not only that, what we could do going forward with him. I don't even think it's about the contract so much. Honestly, I don't think so. They asked him about the contract, and he handled it with aplomb. He said, "I'm gonna let my agent handle that. When they talk and they approach, and he comes back with me with something, we'll talk about it." That's a New York pro style answer to the New York media. That's how you handle it. Didn't get flustered. Was real relaxed. That's my man right there. The Goon Squad. Mitchell Robinson, man. Mitch Rob. Okay? So we're in good shape there. I just wanted to see. Don't be surprised if he misses opening night. Don't trip about that. You're going to be all right. If, whether he makes opening night or he comes in a couple weeks later or whatever, he'll be all right. Okay? When he comes back, he's going to be ready. And the NBA is going to be in trouble. Y'all have a very safe weekend. Be safe out there. Have a good time. Be careful. Sure.